Your words are very powerful, and what you say is just as important as how you say it. And when you're working with pre-K children, it's extremely important for you to mind what you say. There's life and death in the power of your tongue, and you get to create the reality of your classroom as well as your life by the words that you speak, right? So there's life and death in the power of your tongue, and you will eat the fruit of the words that you say. So when it comes to young children in your classroom, you never want to say, oh, that's a bad child, or, I can't stand these kids, or they're getting on my nerves, or, even though you may feel that way, it's very important that you find a way to express yourself in a positive way, right? You want to make sure that even if a child is experiencing difficult behavior, or if the child is being difficult, you can it's not that the child is bad, it's just that they are making bad choices at that time. And so rather than saying, oh, this kid is such a bad kid, like why does he have to be in my class, or this girl is always crying, like she's such a crybaby, rather than saying that, she's not a crybaby. She's learning how to manage her emotions. She needs help with using her words in a way to communicate how she's feeling. And so your perspective has to change about what your students are going through, and so that you can view their behavior differently. And so rather than saying how quote unquote bad they are, you need to look beyond the behavior to look at what the child actually needs. And it may be that they are hungry, it may be that they want something and they don't know how to express themselves about that thing. But as a pre-K teacher, as a new pre-K teacher, what you say to your kids is extremely important. You never want to say that any of your students are bad, because guess what? You're putting that out there, and your kids are going to be bad, and they're going to get on your nerves, and they're going to, oh, whatever negative thing that you have spoken, you will see it come into your classroom. So you always want to make sure that, you come from the perspective of, okay, I don't know what this child has been dealing with all day, like, or all morning before they got here. But once they come into this classroom, I want to make sure that they feel a certain way, that they feel loved, that they feel wanted, that they feel accepted, and that how you show up is welcoming for them, right? So be careful that you watch what you speak, not only over your students, but also over yourself. You know, we want to make sure that we're feeding our minds and our hearts, as well as our students' minds and hearts, with words that uplift them and words that are positive. And the thing about young children is that they will repeat whatever you say right back to them, and you'll hear it in their play, and you'll hear the tones of voice. So if you speak to them a certain way, you're going to hear them speak to their friends in that same tone of voice. I remember when my children were younger, and I heard my older daughter talking to my younger daughter in a way that I was like, what? Why is she talking to her like that? And I had to look back at myself, say, is that how I sound when I'm addressing them? I was horrified, to be honest. I said, oh my goodness, this is not good, you know? So I really want us to be mindful of not only what we say, but how we say it. Because tones change. The tone, and children can pick up on your tone. Recently, like literally a couple weeks ago, there's a child in my class, and he was not making the best choices. And I think I may have come across to him in a certain way where and it was early in the morning. He just came in. He was supposed to be unpacking. And instead of unpacking, he was kind of running around the room and, just not doing what he was supposed to do. which, has been a routine that we've been building over the course of time. And so, they know what's expected at this point in the year. And so I said something to him and he stopped. I don't even remember what I said to him, or maybe the way I said it. I think I must have said something like, you know, I gave him like a choice. Are you gonna start unpacking now, or do you want to go for a walk, or like something like that? I said, but he stopped. I don't know if it was the way I said it. I think it was probably the way I said it. And he said, I'm leaving. And I stopped. I said, what do you mean you're leaving? He said, I'm leaving. He picked up his lunch bag, he picked up his backpack, he picked up his jacket, and he headed for the door. And I said, well, wait a minute. Why are you leaving? He said, because you don't want me. I said, what do you mean? He said, no, Miss Camille, you don't want me. And I'm leaving and I'm going home. And I felt really bad about that, just in all transparency, I felt really bad. And I was like, why do you think I don't want you? And so I had to reflect. That was a moment of self-reflection for me, in which as an early childhood teacher, it's very important that you do have those moments of self-reflection where you think back like, wait a minute, what was it that this child heard? Or what was it about what I said that made this child think that I didn't want him in my class? Because as hard as it is sometimes, I love all my students. I know that they're there to help me grow through, some of the behaviors that they have, and grow through, some things that I need to work on, whether it's patience or grace or, whatever it may be. I know that those kids are in my class for a reason. Like, I am there because they need me, and they're in my class because I need them, right? There's some point of growth within myself that needs to happen that they're going to help me grow through. And so, it was really eye-opening for me to hear the child say that and pick up his stuff and get ready to get up out of there. And I said, well, wait a minute. I want you to stay. I want you in my class. But later on that night, I went home and I reflected on it, and I said, maybe rather than saying that, whatever it was that I said, maybe rather than saying go to another class or let's go for a walk, maybe I offered to do teamwork with him. Maybe I take a different approach. And so I came up with a few, strategies, a few things that of how I could handle that situation in a different way so that the child does not feel as if he's not wanted in my class. Because the last thing I want a child to feel is as if they're not wanted, because I want them in my class. I enjoy them being there. I would prefer if they make, the right choices all the time, but, that's just the nature of young children. Sometimes they make good choices and sometimes they don't, just like adults. Like, sometimes we make good choices and sometimes we don't. And so, just wanted to let you guys know that, and just to put that out there, like, guys, let's watch what we say. Let's be mindful of our words, because that rhyme that we used to rehearse back in the day, where say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me, that is a lie. Words do hurt. And unfortunately, in our society today, words are used to destroy people's lives and to destroy people's self-esteem, and to really make them feel as if they're not wanted or they're not valuable. And so we want to make sure that we're using our words to create the reality that we want. And so rather than saying these kids are so bad or their behavior is so terrible, we say we have to we can say, like, okay, we're on our way to better behavior, or we're learning how to manage our emotions better, or we're learning how to communicate better, or they're in the process of learning. And that's really what it is. If we really think about it truthfully, we're all in a process of learning how to become a better version of ourselves. And these children, they haven't been on the planet for about 5 years. So, the learning curve is a real thing, and it's definitely something that they need to grow into, and with your help as their teacher, to help guide them through, and to help them manage their emotions, and to help them learn how to communicate better and how to make better choices when given those options, they will come out successful on the other side. So use your words to create the reality that you want. My children, my kids, they know how to listen. They follow directions. They may need to be redirected at times, but I know what to do and what to say. And even if you don't, you take a pause and you say, I'm going to have to deal with this, but I'm going to get back to you on that later. Okay. So you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope you found that helpful. And I will see you guys next time. Watch what you say, watch your mouth.